making sure that I was going to try to tell something appropriate and all, and I was trying to come up with a good joke, but everyone else I know, I hate to say it, they're just some of them are still laid off, and I was going to try to think of a good joke to tell about unemployment, but the punchline just didn't work.
Oh, that's
What a dum
that's a
dum.
cheap shot, Dave.
Sportimus, I saw you were here. I want to make sure I have a
That
good one for you.
talk about being
What happened?
You were
talk
there on
about
time.
a cheap joke, you know.
Well, what can I say? I mean, I will say this. Sportimus kind of reminds me of this comedian I knew. He was actually horrible at his job, but had a heart of gold. So we just called him a stand-up guy.
Hmm.
That was kind of like a joke.
Much like
Kinda,
my high school dating life.
kinda.
Oh, oh,
Oh yeah, self-depreciating humor is always the best go-to. Good, well done.
you know what is a good go-to? Tuning in to the Figure Action YouTube channel
And segues.
and segues and re-railing. Tuning in here live on Thursday night, catching us. If you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure you pop into the chat. We love our audience. We always make you all a part of the show. Love having Q&As with you all, and going to ask you all up front to make sure you're here next week because we're going to have a very special guest. We're going to be doing an evening with Bolt Matrix. He will be our
So
guest of honor.
no boobs.
No boobs. No boobs, unless you want to bring your own
Notice
boobs.
stop appearing in the chat.
BYOB. If you want to come in here, hang out with Balt, ask him some questions. We'll be talking about his YouTube career, some of the figures he's collected along the way, just all kinds of stuff. So make sure to tune in for that because it's going to be a great time. We always have really good times when we do these interviews and have guests on the show. So also, Killbossa, slam that like button for us. Helps us out. And if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed and ring that notification bell so you can see when we come out with additional content. And
Also, that Final Fantasy VII one?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII one. I'm sorry, life. I have all weekend off and I don't have any time to play games. I've been getting the yard ready for the puppy, so that's been consuming my time.
I think I'm in the last big fight. So
Are you in getting the yard ready for the puppy? Does that mean you're going out and pre-peeing on spots to show the puppy where to go?
Well, we don't have him yet, but I'm testing the pH levels.
But you got to pre-urinate on designated spots in the yard.
I've been lifting my leg up and just
That's not what she meant by doggies. Anyway.
He's marking his territory.
He went full hydrant.
Yeah. So, and then also, while you're at it, make sure to check out our Teespring store, teespring.com. Look up the FAP shop where you can get great quality t-shirts, such as mine and Mr. Joe Krabs.
Not mine.
Not that one.
That. They come in a variety of styles, men's, women's, hoodies. I think we even have tank tops. And we've got some of in fact, I may need to invest in a tank top for doing some yard work. Helps out our channel, helps keep us on the StreamYard site, and just really helps represent us. So get the Figure Action name out there. Anyway, we've got the whole crew here tonight, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So without further ado, T-Man 978, how the hell are you? And did you get anything cool this week?
I sure did. And
Yeah,
I'm okay, I guess. I'll be better when there's no more staying in the house and all that junk. But if you can see this, this is the all black retail Snake Eyes. I did a comparison review. If you watch my channel, you already saw it. And you either watched it or skipped it.
I watched it.
Thank you, sir. I watched it again earlier. Somebody made a comment and it made just kept watching it. But finally got the McFarlane reading, and I like it. It comes with all the accessories that I ever asked for except for fists.
Ooh, there's the freaking T-shirt right there.
I didn't read. Didn't get.
It says, Dave has the figure, T-Man 978 provides the action.
Yeah.
I really like that. I could come up with stuff like that.
This is in my possession, but I don't own it.
Yet.
Fancy Iceman. Yeah, as expensive as these things are, and I've already missed the boat on going on 3. I'm probably never gonna own it.
You own Silverbolt, though, right?
Nope.
Honestly,
Well, you have your Zeta ones though, right?
Nope. And after I got the second Zeta, I quit.
honestly,
I
it's kind
didn't
of funny.
Probably.
For the cost of the 3 of them that are out now, you could
Mhm.
get the whole Zeta set. In fact, you could get the updated one in the Toon colors.
Probably.
No,
Mhm.
definitely you can.
I'm skipping.
T's like, I don't know about all that. I'm a simple man with a.
I don't need it. I don't
goofy
need a
haircut.
combiner. I don't need a full combiner in my collection. I don't. Why should I go full hold hog on a combiner? Why should that's T-Man right there? Hey, what do you got in your hand?
Something that's a secret to everyone. So don't tell nobody that hasn't watched. I haven't talked about it on my channel yet, but I did pick up Mixmaster Studio Series.
Are you going to get
So-
Devil Savior and have the same reaction as Jobby?
Oh my god, I had an aneurysm watching that review.
You look like you're in pretty good shape for having an aneurysm.
He got better.
Sportimus, I like the Zeta set. I like the Zeta set a lot.
Not in robot modes.
Hey, I like it for planes and I like it for Superion. Actually, you know what? No, the robot modes aren't terrible, to be honest. Especially Silverbolt.
What was the first
Silverbolt's
one
good.
that came out? What was the first one?
It was Air Raid. No, Air Raid was one of the last. I think. Oh man.
Slingshot. Wasn't Slingshot the first?
Yeah, I think it was Slingshot. Yeah, Air Raid was the last
It was
one.
a black one. wasn't it?
Slingshot, Firefly. Firebolt.
Yeah, I think it was
Or was it
Slingshot.
Air Raid?
Firefly.
Was Air Raid the first one?
No, Air Raid and
It was the white one, the red one,
yeah.
then
Whichever was the
the
first
gray
one,
one, then the
I
black
was like-
one, then Silverbolt.
I was like, this is cool for $60. I was like, this is cool. But then the red one came out, and it felt really cheap to me, and I was like, ugh.
See, I got fortunate. I got 3 of the 4 for $50 when GCI was still around. And then the only one I had to pay more for was Air Raid, and then Lex gave me Silverbolt for my birthday. So
GCI.
yeah,
That,
Poor-
that I
440.
would have kept.
How do you like Scavenger, or do we have to wait for the chill review?
He's thinking.
He
I
grew
don't
on
like
me.
either one. I don't like either one of these.
He grew on me. Like I found myself like for 3 weeks, I kept that thing on my desk and I was just messing with it until like just I don't know, just something about it. I started to really like it.
Mind you, I hated the original version of that toy that you're holding right there.
If the head could turn more than this, I would have a little bit more fun. And the joints and the arms are extremely hard.
But you can turn the wheel.
Yeah.
Like
to
that's-
go out, you have to do this. But I feel like for this, out of all the Studio Series Transformers, this you definitely have to be in a kid's mind to have fun with. Like it would be fun to roll it around on the wheel. Like if you're not doing that, then it's like, what do I do with this thing?
But aren't you in that mindset?
Not as much.
Oh wait, you're
Or
not.
you had to be in love with the original trailer of Revenge of the Fallen, because that was pretty much his only point.
And you know that guy's gonna get repainted in the red and white deco.
Yeah, and I'm gonna skip it, especially for $50. But I think that's all I got. I mean, it's okay, and you'll see me talk more about it, I guess. not I guess. Since I bought them, I gotta review.
You gotta get those chill reviews flowing.
Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully USPS doesn't drag their feet, and hopefully what I'm sending you gets there by Saturday.
Something I was very excited about was supposed to get here today, but they dragged their feet, ass, and everything else. It got to Baltimore last night, and that's all it did. I haven't gotten any update since.
So my Iceman went from PA to Easton, and like Easton is like in order, Easton's not terribly far from where I live. It's across the Bay Bridge. But it went from Easton to Hyattsville, and now it's in DC. So it's like they went past my house, and I have no faith that it's going to be here tomorrow. I think it's going to be here on Saturday.
That sounds
You
like
just need it by next week's show.
parts former level shipping there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'll have you know that this guy left Linthicum Heights 5 times. Because we have a distribution center in Linthicum, and that typically under normal circumstances, when something gets checked in there, it's usually early in the morning, and then I'll get it that same day. All of a sudden, it'll update to out to delivery, having already been checked through the post office. So to leave Linthicum 5 times and get it 4 days later is a really, really stand-up job.
See, I agree.
THEIR.
Hey, we'll not get on grammar. I have a beef with USPS, especially today. I was trying to send a package out to T. I got there. There's a self-service 24-hour kiosk, and
Also describes my high school dating life.
24/7 kiosk. What are they?
And social distancing, right?
Now the question is, did you have to stick a payment in before you could proceed?
The 90s sucked.
Stick
Let
it
me
in
tell
deep.
you.
Rerail it. Why were you?
I'm printing a label. But yeah, I was at the post office. I was trying to send some stuff out to T, and the drop off for the packages in the kiosk was like locked, and I'm like, what the fuck? This thing's never locked. And it was like 5. They close at 5, on any given weekday, and this was like 5:10. And I'm like knocking on the door. I'm like, hey, can I drop this package off? And the lady's like, we closed. And I'm like, your kiosk, the drop off for packages, it's locked. I already paid for postage. Can I hand this to you to put it in the counter? We closed. Come back tomorrow. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
They closed.
They closed.
But
But it's a good thing, like, the post office is around the corner from the barber shop I'm going to tomorrow, so it's not like it's a minor inconvenience, but I'm going to be there anyway.
And the barbershop, they not going to be closed.
They're not going to be closed now. They're actually opening at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, because they got to accommodate all those appointments.
Yeah. Speaking of a man that could use a barber shop, True Star Screamer.
Oh, I thought you were going to go for Joe.
No.
Oh, that would have been good.
How the hell are you? And did you get anything cool?
I am well. Usual, overworked. But it's actually been pretty good for me on the nerd side of things. Of course, work has been steady as hell, and yeah, I am in dire need. Hopefully next week this will all be gone.
It kind of looks like the Jay Leno do, like in the early 90s before.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I might just get this shaved, and I may even just trim this off just because. But I like my quarantine beard. What do you guys think? Throw a poll up. Should I keep the beard or not?
Keep the beard. Who all in the chat thinks he should keep the beard?
I'd keep the goatee because if I lose the goatee, I'm not gonna.
I feel like you should keep the beard.
Yeah.
And if you're intensely indifferent, simulate an answer.
Yeah, I feel like if you grow the beard out and it looks good and people are used to it, and then you suddenly shave it, you kind of look like a lesbian.
I look like I am 22 years old. A fat 22-year-old though. I actually did that for my 40th. Well, actually, if you go back to the episode where I turned 40, I actually shaved off that week. Remember, I did a complete shave
yeah.
at 40. So you can actually, it is on record on the Figure Action podcast. If you go back to our older episodes, and I can't remember which ones, so you have to go back to each one and add us more views. Okay, well, Sportimus said I should keep it. So
Save Dave. That needs to be a T-shirt. We should have
gotta put it on a water tower like Save Ferris.
yeah, and we have like one half of your face, like kind of like the '70s Incredible Hulk. With like you're green and shaven.
I read the craziest Incredible Hulk fact the other day from the old TV show. The guy who played Lurch in the Addams Family TV show did the voice of the Hulk.
Huh. I always thought it was Lou Ferrigno, since he did the voice of the Hulk in like all the movies.
No, actually, I was on an Addams Family kick. We started watching it at home because Kira had never seen it, and I was looking at the actor who played Lurch. And no effort for randomness. Quit spoiling things. He spoiled it. Things like that.
Nyland wants you to shave it all.
But the thing about that is you're gonna have to prove it to him later. So keep that to yourself.
He says everything like a 12-year-old boy.
Page.
Mm-hmm.
You have an OnlyFans?
Figure Action After Hours.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Well, since he mentioned it, I got a package from Nate Simmons this week. I was hoping this came in last week, but because Nate Simmons, official sponsor of our show, got me the G.I. Joe the Pulse Snake Eyes, which, if you're curious on thoughts, watch T-Man's thing, but I totally cannot wait to photograph this guy. I'm just very
I wish
pleased
I got in on that. I really wish I got in on that. Because like after seeing T's review.
It's not just T's review. If you go with the packaging, that is like, honestly, that is.
He's like, the hell with. Don't worry about T's review. This thing is.
And not only that, the box.
You think I'm kidding? Actually, T-Man's comparison with the Snake Eyes video, he goes over everything on that, and holding it in your hands like that paper, that little printout, the paper, it feels like vellum. I mean, it is. Everything is. This, if they did like a masterpiece 1/12 Stego, that's not a Mezco. This and the full setup with that. I almost wish Hasbro did like the retail version of a figure and the $40 version of a figure. I'd be hooked on that bad. So love this guy. Did hit the Walmart surprisingly the other day, and I was able to get Blue Zeo SPD Red and Blaze from the Lightning collection.
Isn't Trini in that wave?
No, Trini.
Yeah.
She wasn't there.
I don't mean to interrupt. I've been seeing all three of them like on the peg. I've been seeing like 6 each every Walmart I go to, but I don't see any Yellow Rangers.
I'm looking for the Trini, but I will say I cannot wait to really open up this guy. This is one of my favorite character designs, and I hope they make the Roxy from Beast Morphers. My daughter and I are still watching and enjoying the show, making slow progress, but this is easily one of my favorite costume designs. And
We
then
can open it tonight.
I might be working on that, but I opened up this guy instead because I picked up the Batman Arkham Asylum from McFarlane. I just don't have any Batman in my collection. It's the weirdest thing. I was looking over at my Arkham Knights. I got Nightwing. I got Red Hood. I've got the Arkham Knight. I got Azrael, but I never got Batman from this. I didn't like the Batman 1000 version of the first wave. This guy still isn't an amazing fit. I mean, the detail's great, but he only has single jointed elbows that can only barely make 90 degrees. I am probably going to be heating this guy up and doing some modding because now I kind of figured out where to cut a McFarlane figure to give him more articulation. But it's not a bad figure. I mean, it's a Batman. I said he can do the Iron Man pose pretty well.
How's the neck?
I mean, he can
Can you look
Do
up?
this. Yes, that's about as high as he can look up right there.
So you're gonna
I
mod
haven't, I haven't figured out how to mod the heads yet, but I got the rest of the bodies taken care of. And then I've been having a lot of fun with this guy. I know I mentioned I picked him up last week, but now that I actually opened him up, I don't know if you guys remember when Parts Former, he actually did a review on our channel for the, was it the Razor Alien, Matt?
Did I?
I thought it was the arachnid alien from.
No, it was the purple one with the razor claws.
The razor claws, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I do a review on that?
You did a review
Yeah.
on that.
You did now.
And remember how you actually
It's
said, like,
awesome.
you know how you, and I watched it and I ended up buying that. But remember, I was like, and it's an alien, like, even if you're not a major collector, it's like a cool figure to have. This is easily right up there with him.
The box
I
was
think-
really neat.
Every-
Speaking of boxes,
But the Rhino Alien, of course, the most dangerous reviewer to watch is D Amazing, because of course he does a great breakdown on these things. The plastic's very different, and what I'd really like is how compact. He's huge, but you can get when you get him down on 4 legs, he just compacts so low, So I
Can
know
he
it,
then look up? Like, can he get his head straight?
not only he can look up and his body tilts back too, so it works
Okay.
really well for
I
that.
did do a review of that. Why should I remember this?
Jeez. That's
Well
Not
done,
bad.
Dave. Guys, go find that video and watch it, because apparently I need you to do that for some reason.
I already watched it. That's why I
Not
bought
you.
the-
I'm talking to the huddled masses that are watching.
Okay.
later though.
Yeah.
Wingham,
Later.
I never said a damn thing about you, Nat Wingham, and you still need to learn how to spell there. It's Their for the possessive. But I know I mentioned I got this last week, but this is absolutely a figure worth getting in your collection just for almost like for the sake of having it. I mean,
There
this
is something
translucent
about
plastic.
the animal designed alien figures that
Well,
were
all the-
always so cool. I don't know.
These Kenner aliens and the Kenner Predators also. But I mean, NECA does just a bang up job, and the plastic is different on this guy.
I regret not picking up the snake when they reissued it. I have the original, but I didn't get the snake.
I didn't care for the snake just because it's just a floppy thing. This guy is.
I was
I
You
got
don't
disappointed.
care for floppy things, huh? Okay.
I was
I got
disappointed
the
by the
full-
gorilla one.
Really, I kind of want the gorilla one, but I got the scorpion. I really do like the scorpion.
The scorpion one is so evocative of the original, but the NECA gorilla, it doesn't have the proportions that the Kenner one had, and I think that was the appeal.
Okay, but it still looks good. I mean,
How much are they? Got it.
30.
this guy was like 30, and
You
I
have
can
to ask. They're too much.
but you can feel it. I mean, you feel the weight. You got the like that translucent plastic looks so good.
You gotta be careful, Pac. That is a rabbit hole. That's
That's a bold statement.
Okay, Pack. I used to be strictly Transformers, strictly Transformers. Then I got robots, and then one day I bought a Marvel Legend, and that's where those all came from.
and now he buys
I
them
bought
by the
one.
case.
So
Same.
hopefully redoing the photo booth again, because I know No Effort Randomness. I greatly appreciate the support on that, but I definitely need to photo shoot that Snake Eyes and a bunch of other stuff. I'm definitely getting behind.
You
That's
got your
my week.
camera right there. You can do it.
I
right
know.
now.
I need to name this thing.
I would name it Cannon.
Or Betsy.
Or how
not
about
gonna name it Refractor.
XAE X12 Machina, whatever his name is, Musk.
Uh,
The
I'm
future
not
leader
part-
of Mars.
I'm not part of the Church of Musk.
One day, Dave. We will bring you in.
But Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Is it my turn now?
yeah. I was gonna say. Speaking of a man who traded in his barber for a Tesla, Mr. Joe
I did.
Crab.
Hey, you guys, make fun of me sometimes because apparently I buy
There's lots
too
of reasons.
expensive. Well, yeah, but for buying expensive stuff. But you know how much money I save on haircuts? I mean, you guys are the ones that are wasting money.
Like $18
Technically,
a
I-
month. You should be rolling in it.
I am. How do you think I got this thing here?
Hey, I haven't spent a dime on a haircut in over a month. Okay.
I saved up all my haircut money and bought a constructor,
Not just any constructor.
a cell shaded constructor. Hello,
That's
everybody.
probably my favorite deco of all the ones that came out that I've seen.
So
that I've looked at from afar.
this thing, it is awesome. It's very intimidating. It is heavy. It's solid. It's so
Intimidating.
many things. It's like all the things. The paint on this, it makes it look like it's even in real life. Like when I'm sitting here looking at it, it looks like somebody CGI'd this into my hands. It
Is
does
Joe
not look.
uncharacteristically blurry to everybody else?
He's a little
Yeah,
pixelated.
it's very pixelated. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not good because it
Either
looks
he's
crystal clear
censored or
right here.
or he's got Baltimore ISP.
Did you piss off Todd McFarlane?
I don't know. Let me see what the live
He
stream
might
looks
be
like.
ready to
Oh
take us
yeah,
down.
Yeah.
I'm very pixelated.
It's like
That's
no,
what-
they
I'm
didn't want us.
I got T-Man internet right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sportimus, I've got a Canon T7 Rebel, just so you know.
They didn't want us to see the beauty of that figure.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, but I'm gonna be putting some more pictures, or at least one good picture on Instagram later. I fixed the waist, so now my waist does properly swivel. There's way too much paint gunked up in there.
So you took the very aspect of
Stand.
the figure that you paid a ton of extra money for, and you scraped it out.
And I scraped. Yeah, just took a paint scraper and.
You're like, there's $6, $7.
Yep.
So you're trying to say,
And then-
this went DMX on you.
I got a what?
All this paint's gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in there.
So I got a last minute haul when I came home today. It was a nice surprise. I got my pink stone pillar action figure, which is highly detailed.
I thought that's your
It's
wife's.
zero POA. It's dual purpose. I was gonna get to that, Dave, but you had to steal my thunder. But anyway, you could use this for many things. And it actually came with a free Tao Pai Kai action figure. Isn't that cool?
Soft good.
Yeah, but
Those
my
are
street
soft
cred,
good, right?
my street cred's still 780. Thank you very much.
These are not soft goods. This is
Oh, you're
SH,
high def white.
This is SH Figure Arts, so this is plastic, rubbery plastic.
Well, it looks good.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys.
Or
can see
rather,
that.
it would look good if we could see it really well.
Oh
That-
well,
that would-
whatever. So
That way, no wants to know. Does it have electronics?
does this have electronics, or does the constructor have electronics?
And he just said, "Does it vibrate?"
That
Hold on, let me see.
About. So it's a toothbrush. Got it.
All right, that's it for me. Matt.
A man who's using all of the bandwidth. You can see the.
Full HD. I'm sorry, it
Hog.
had to be me. And to make matters worse, I don't have a haul, so there's nothing
It
I can be.
had to be you.
So look here. I don't have a haul. This is an old figure from a few weeks ago, but it's an
Yeah.
HD. Do you see that in HD? And it's really red, and it
Matt,
matches the
Matt,
hat. That was
you
not an
should've-
accident.
You should have held up just
So-
empty hands and said you had the Ghost of
There's
Starscream
that. I-
New Age.
But he's frozen now.
Oh, see, he was running his mouth
He
about that
He was
HD,
using all the
Yeah.
bandwidth.
and then YouTube was like, eh.
Hey, Zero.
Hey,
Talk,
T-Man.
talk to Henry about the snake eyes.
Oh,
You might
Henry
not
as
like
in-
the price. Pay.
Oh. Well, the moment you say I might not like the price, that's you know,
I'll tell
That means you buy it for sure.
I mean, you know,
He might be nice because it's you, but
Yeah, wait.
I doubt it.
we'll
Or you
see.
could talk to Nate Simmons, friend of the show.
I could ask Nate if he's got friend prices going on. So we'll see. I mean, worst case, I'm not opposed to just getting the retail version. But wow, we got like 2 mats in here.
Holy
Whoa, shit! He's got a new hat
Whoa.
on.
All right, I made it back. As soon as I was talking about how good my connection was,
Yes.
I thought
Yeah.
the red hat was just an imposter.
Yeah.
The real Matt came in now.
He changed hats to use less bandwidth.
Yeah,
That's
I
how it
think
was. Yeah. I
YouTube
made
must
their-
have caught on. They knew you were planning on moving exclusively to Spotify, so they were cutting you off.
That's true.
we're just in talks. It wasn't anything hardcore or concrete.
I heard you signed a big deal, $100 million deal.
I was already a big deal. I didn't have to sign.
So, would you like to see the baby?
I have 2 of those.
Why is
too-
it so
oh.
small?
It's supposed to. I actually think it is too small. I think he
I
should be a
expected
little
it
bit
to be
bigger.
bigger.
That's what she said.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Listen, that is completely worth owning if you're going to buy the Mafex Mandalorian, because that just comes with a little useless one. That's going to be a much nicer one to go with.
I mean, that's $10. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
it
he
really
comes
is
with
fine.
accessories.
It's like a third-party add-on for the Mafex.
And did you get
But-
the Build-A-Figure for the Razor Crest? The little knob. It's the first piece for 6,000 more pieces that you got to get.
So it's like the Ecto one.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Fuck that Ecto one. Fuck it, because that shit would drive me nuts.
Zero,
Just
we
the-
can't
the
hear
triple
you.
one.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah. So Nightwing, you've got one on the way. I mean, this is a cool little figure for what it is. I actually got one for Lex, so she now has her own Black Series figure, which is interesting. We got there.
That's not what she meant when she said she wanted a black figure in the room.
Mm.
Oh boy.
She's going to kill me when the day she meets me. You know that, right?
Probably not. No. I like this. Needs to trend on Twitter. This hashtag here.
I'm working on it.
So I was fortunate enough to find myself a hot link.
Who's opening
Wait.
up their Skittles? Christ's sake.
Was fortunate enough to find myself a hot link with the 2 weirdest named Battle Masters, Heat Stroke and Heartburn. Those are.
Is that really their names?
That is really their names.
I heard
Nuh-uh.
someone say that, and I thought he was
No.
joking.
No, that is really their names. Heat Stroke and Heartburn.
If that's the case, then the main secret should have been called Fieri.
I mean, if
Yeah,
I heard
right?
Matt Baldwin say that, I wouldn't take it seriously too. I would just
Leave
think
it
he's
down.
talking about his day.
Heat
Got me
Stroke
a
and
little heat
Heartburn
stroke,
out in,
little heartburn.
out in Arkansas. Man, they reopened the Waffle House. I want fucking ham.
Dude, do not joke. We are counting down for that Waffle House to reopen in my
Floor
neck
time
of
with
the
my.
woods.
I got the Netflix Megatron, which when you see this thing in person, it's gonna
pretty.
make it. Yeah, it's very pretty. It made me double dip. I mean, I've got the original one just set up for display. For
I thought you
tank
triple
mode.
dipped.
I quadruple dipped if you think about it, because I also have the cell shaded one. That's a
Right.
permanent desktop,
And
and
the
I have
G2.
the G2. Yeah.
How
So-
does that? How would you say that deco compares to the cell shaded?
Man, it's if you could only pick one, like I like the cell shaded one a lot, but if I could only pick one, I would go with the Netflix one, because this is what this should have been in the first place.
You said that one though, the Netflix does not fix the problems of the original like the G2 did.
It's not as bad as the original, like the neck portion. There's got more friction. The G2 one has the most friction. That thing just stays.
Giggity.
And then the cell shaded one also has a neck similar to the G2 one, where it's got a lot more resistance. But as far as presence, like the thing about the cell shaded one is like they didn't paint his face. It's just gray plastic, and it looks good. But just the sheer amount of paint on this guy, and like just how reflective the silver paint they used is on here, it really just makes all the details
I
pop.
like that battle damage a lot better on the chest.
Yeah, and if you look at the Netflix promo shots, it's accurate. I mean, even like this, he's got like I don't know how well it's gonna come up on my webcam here, but if you go to like any photo gallery, he's got like a scuffed up Decepticon insignia on his chest too, and that just really seals the deal for me. I think he's worth it. I think he's probably in a shelf warm He comes with, I think, Pinpointer, and then he comes with the correct colors for Lionizer. So I've given Pinpointer to my Crosshairs since he was the target master for him. And what else? I got probably the best looking Studio Series figure, Sentinel Prime, which this thing's awesome. I just gotta say, like, this has the most presence out of any of the Studio Series figures, maybe with the exception of Shockwave. Can't really recommend this guy enough. Fun transformation, maybe a little fiddly when it comes to the panels, but I've really enjoyed flipping him back and forth. I don't feel like hauling him out because I got him partially combined in as Devastator, but when I got him, I also found oh god, what's the other Voyager named? T, help me out. The yellow guy.
The yellow guy.
We'll just call him Yellow Guy.
Scavenger.
Thank you. I got Scavenger with him, and he's awesome. He's probably the best of the Constructicons, in all honesty. And last but not least, I got myself a Red Bull, and I think this figure may simply be my figure of the year so far.
He would have been mine if it wasn't for Jason Lowry.
This is
So
just
close.
really cool concept. The transformation is a lot of fun. The bull mode is awesome. It's got a lot of articulation in it. It's really successful in what it does. I mean, they kind of phone in a tank mode, but I mean, this thing's just awesome. If you want to get a curiosity piece or a desk bot, or you're in the Beast Wars or the whole T-Beast thing, definitely pick this guy up. I think really this is Generation Toys' best figure, and I think this is going to be a contender for figure of the year for me.
Jordan,
So-
would you agree with what I said last week, that parts of the transformation that otherwise maybe with other companies would have been problematic or frustrating, on this guy they made it, like, they left enough space, they gave enough clearance where it flows pretty easily.
I'd agree. The only thing that I feel is a misstep with this guy is this gray piece, because it's like you really need a spudger
Yeah,
to
it's
get it
tight.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, they did a good job of making it a really intuitive transformation, a smooth transformation, and there's a lot of fun to this. And I've been saying it for a while, like, I love when there's just enough paint on a figure. Like, you're not going to scrape any paint transforming this guy back and forth. Yet it still maintains a presence. It's got like kind of like an MMC finish on it, like kind of like a matte finish. And it's got paint in all the right areas. I can't say enough good things about this figure, and I really hope we see more from Generation Toy for these. So, and even the feet, like the little things that, yeah, it's like that you didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway on the bottoms of the feet, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, he's got good balance, good posability.
So definitely, if you're curious, I recommend picking him up.
And probably one of the ones that's going to sell out too. So if you can jump on it, I would say go grab it. Throw it into your stack or your haul or your whatever your store calls it.
He's sold out on Toy Dojo and the Chosen Prime. So I'm surprised, but I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. Although there'll definitely be a second run.
Yeah. All right.
If they
So
do him-
what
if
I
they-
was going to say before my internet cut out was, I don't have a haul this week, but I do have a story. And it's not an interesting story, but stick with me anyway. So my company outsourced my group to another company. So I transferred jobs without actually transferring jobs. Basically, my paycheck gets signed by new people. The funny part is that because I'm a government subcontractor, we do 980 work schedules.
Okay.
That was not me.
No, it's T. So I'm a government subcontractor. We do 980s, which means I work I have every other Friday off, which means it's 44 hours one week, 36 hours the next week. The funny part of that is that this company's budget payroll system can't actually handle that. So what ends up happening for every single person that got transferred over working that schedule is that on their 44-hour week, we get paid 4 hours overtime. So over and above the 40, we get every single paycheck we've gotten so far. It's been 40 for 4 hours paid overtime, and there's nothing they can do about it till they fix it. And they've already said they're not coming after the money, so it's pretty much like their fuck up. We get to keep the money on it. So having that in mind, and
These are on you.
and T being a bastard, I did just while we were sitting here, right as maybe it's what killed my internet, but I did order the New Age Insecticons because peer pressure. What T? Do you have the toy or the animation? The originals or the ones they recolored?
The toy.
Okay, that's what I got because Big Bad still had them in stock, and they're $10 cheaper than the animation ones. So,
Didn't you pick those up at TFCon?
No.
The Insecticons? No,
they weren't. They were. Oh yeah.
I
don't think they were out yet.
I thought I remember seeing you with an Insecticon of some kind.
Oh, he had them beforehand. That's right. They were out because you had them in the car when we were. That's where I first messed with them, is because we were in the Tesla driving.
That was probably what you're remembering, Dave.
Well,
I
in
got
the
them
Tesla.
before I got MP44.
We already had them. That's all I got to say about that. So I said that using that extra money, I justified buying overly priced bugs. Plus, I
Yeah,
figured
you
that-
have to
that work.
justify it. You could buy whatever you want.
the small size. I figured the bugs, the Legend scale Insecticons, could also work for the Masterpiece scale bots, given that the Insecticons in the Transformers video game, what the hell was it called, Devastation, were tiny, so that would work too. And it comes with
Well-
little Energon cubes, so why not?
That, and I'm about to send y'all a picture of something I did. Y'all can keep talking in the meantime.
Is it got toys in it or body parts? Because that'll
Toy.
dictate how fast I go to look at it.
Now, are these
Dictate.
pictures that we can then share with our figure action audience?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
we
just
can-
one picture.
Wow,
There
it's
he
a
goes.
sideways teaming.
Yeah.
He's crawling up the wall. How is this possible?
There we go. That's it.
And this is why we can't go to Spotify, because we have people who seem to work on visual gags.
Spotify has video, Dave.
Sportimus, you don't want to work there. That's the least of their worries, man. That's just a problem they have that happens to work out in our favor. There's a ton of other shit going wrong, but
Speaking of gags, I tell you how this one girl got this job. Where, never mind.
Oh god, dude.
Oh, come on, man. The only
It's really
fans
good.
joke.
you are digging deep in the bag for that one.
There we go.
Yeah, that
That's-
picture. Yeah,
That scales so well. Wow.
Amazingly well, especially compared to the movie. But
That
burp
act-
alert! I'm about to drink a soda, so I'm warning y'all now.
That's why there's a mute button.
There we go. And speaking about this, Prime, we have a possible figure coming. I don't know how this is going to be included. This does not appear to be a custom, but it appears that there may be a sleep mode Earthrise Prime coming.
I think that's a Photoshop.
No, I don't think it's a Photoshop. I think it looks real enough. I can tell. I typically can tell Photoshops, and
It looks
Yeah.
like they just took all the hue out.
no, they definitely didn't take all the hue out because there wouldn't be the contrast here. If they took the hue out, you wouldn't have any beige.
Yeah, besides Star Trek Picard took all the hue out.
Who let the hue out?
I mean, I could take this into Photoshop and adjust the levels and see if I see any trickery, but
So is this
My-
proof that he's gonna die in the cartoon?
I mean, we'll probably have to wait until 2021 to find out,
right.
or maybe 2022, depending.
So pictures like this make me wonder, like Hasbro made a prototype of a figure or painted it up or whatever, and then they sent it to this guy and said, "Here, throw this on your bed and take a picture and link it to the
Right.
internet." Well, how does this happen? Where did this come from? Why is this here?
That might be Prime versus Prime's
This
bed.
is not my beautiful wife.
It might be.
It might be. That's the thing. People are
gets everything.
strange.
As you can see here, I sleep on a twin bed.
I've got the touch and the power tonight.
Ooh, I should try that.
I mean, cool. I think Sleep Mode Prime is definitely underrepresented, and I feel like for people that do movie displays, he's needed. I would definitely love to see an MP like the Nemesis Prime MP44. I guess that he's what, MP47. It's no, MP48 is Nemesis Prime, which I don't understand. I think that should be MP44B or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they're really getting loopy with their numbering now. It used to be like
Maybe it's because he doesn't come with the trailer.
I mean, here's the thing though: is like MP10B didn't come with a trailer. That was the original.
MP3 was no. MP4 was Optimus with a trailer.
Right. So I mean, still, I don't know. I mean, you know, they're so inconsistent with their numbering.
I agree with you, but I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And you're right. I mean, that was the figure at the trail. I mean, you know, MP2 was Ultra Magnus. So
Spinout should have been a new character since he
right.
was a character.
Right, but he's a plus. I mean, I don't know. But still, I feel like
Word is a different number.
I feel like what they ought to do is do like a Sleep Mode Prime with the deathbed instead of a trailer. And then
He also needs battle damage.
well, I mean, he has the pieces.
I mean, Sleep Mode, I could see it as an exclusive. I do not. That's definitely a waste of production.
But that's the thing, though, is that there's probably a ton of exclusives they were geared up to release that are no longer viable because the conventions or places they were going to be released at are now null and void. So,
you know, you say that, but then you just put that as a fan channel exclusive, and they have a route for them.
I mean,
That's
they
the
have
thing.
Generations Selects.
Well,
Right.
you got that. I mean, actually, this is actually a good subtopic right here, just in general. Sorry, I don't mean to hijack, but this is a fantastic sub. With SDCC canceled, I mean, we don't know about any of the other ones, but with all these convention exclusives, but the thing is, they actually set themselves up a beautiful route because GameStop, Entertainment Earth, even Amazon has proven to be a viable way for them to move product. You know, all those exclusives, they could ramp up a third more. And as soon as Amazon puts a sale out there, I hate to say it, all the scalpers will pre-order them. They will make their money. And then a few of us who sit there and hit refresh and pre-order will get it too. I think there's no reason for them to stop making exclusives because they've got the routes to get them out.
I know, I agree.
Entertainment Earth's slow ass is why I don't have the G.I. Joe yet.
I mean, but any of the fan channel stuff, I mean, all the GameStop ones, I mean, I bought them. I like them. I think I've passed on a couple of them, but like the X-Force Deathlock. But I thought they were really cool. I mean, what happened with Skywarp? That was an Amazon exclusive. Good luck finding it. It sold. Red Wing, online exclusive to Target. It sold.
Well, you can still get Red Wing, but that's because they changed. Like that was the silliest thing. Like the way they handled Red Wing, was at first you could just buy it and then you needed a Target Red card to get it. Like
yeah. Sportimus, are we talking about here the Zombie Prime? I assume we're not talking about Sleep Mode. We're talking about more Dark Awakening Prime.
I think everybody wants that.
Because that episode is probably the only episode of Transformers that actually scared the shit out of me when I was
think
little.
that's the only episode of season 3 I truly enjoyed.
I mean, it was it's a good episode, but that Prime is fucked. Like, that is a fucking weird looking. Like,
I wasn't scared. I was sad.
I think that was so a third party company to make that head.
Yeah.
With the eye blown out.
The one eye blown out. That was creepy.
That was a
This is like
step.
Zombie Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that not a Prime that they're making? Dave,
Yep.
see to that.
Well, you see,
He's
it's that, and there's one particular Transformer which I'm surprised third party has never made.
what's that?
And again, this is like an obscure Japanese character, but I would kill for him to get a figure. And it was a character called Giltor. I don't know if you remember him, but he was literally a combination of Megatron and Optimus's dead bodies put together, and he was powered by Starscream's ghost. If you never looked it up, the image, like, he was like one of those comic book only characters, but it's a really cool character design.
I'm
Laserbeak-
looking that up now.
And Laserbeak, fits in my camera perfectly. But I mean, that was just such a beautiful design. I think I could see a third party. I mean, look at that. I think that's cooler than Star Convoy, to be honest.
mm,
So that's Super Megatron and
That's Megatron and Optimus's bodies put together.
do they transform?
Yes, they did.
A little
It was
overly
like-
complicated for me.
It was like a truck version of Prime with a giant revolver gun on. There you go.
To me, it looks like Mega Man X when he gets all his armor pieces.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
You make that sound like a bad thing.
It's all right.
I'm just like, when third party first started, I was surprised that was never made.
I mean, I honestly, the way things are going these days, I could see Generation Selects doing it before third party.
You
Yeah.
you say that. I'm also surprised IDW didn't jump on that. That would have been kind of cool. That versus Star Saber.
But then they'd have to kill Optimus and Megatron.
Optimus, they do that enough. I mean,
Just to say, Optimus might as well have an X on his belt. The amount of times he's been killed and brought back to life.
and then gets reincarnated by a
Who's
chainsaw.
died more, Goku, Superman, or Optimus?
Superman's only died once.
Goku's died
Probably
a handful of
Optimus.
times.
I was gonna say
About-
probably Goku.
How about Krillin and Yamcha? I think
Yeah.
they died more.
Did they ever bring Yamcha back into life after the
Yeah.
Cybermen?
Yeah,
Plenty of times.
Plenty of time.
Yamcha, yeah, we got you this red shirt. Why?
If you include all the series, Optimus died the most.
But
He
are
died
you-
in the first 3 episodes of animated.
Are you going to count Optimus Primal as an Optimus death?
Yeah,
No.
if we
No.
do all the primes.
If we talk about G1 Prime, I mean, in the comic, he died and was saved on a freaking floppy disk. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember that.
And then he died one time and he put his consciousness into his trailer.
Don't remember that one.
I think that's an IDW.
And then also in the comics, he died again and put his consciousness into High Q, who was a person.
I mean, let's face it, Roller was the brains anyway. I mean, Roller's the unsung hero of the series. He should be included more in toys. In fact, it's a shame that Siege doesn't have a Roller yet.
I was
Right.
actually surprised they didn't make one of those Battle Masters. And
They still might. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Earth Wars or Earthrise is still
Earthrise.
coming out, so
Well, it was at like one of the toy shows that they actually repainted Combiner Wars Roller and had it on display with the Earthrise trailer.
Combiner Wars Roller?
Yeah, well, I should say Unite Warriors, because Unite Warriors had what was the name of the limb they created for Defensor?
Rook.
Rook. Yeah, they repainted Rook into Roller.
He wouldn't fit into that trailer.
Well,
I
that
mean,
wasn't. Well, that was the other Roller, though, right? That wasn't Optimus's Roller.
well, so they
I figured they would repaint that little Battle Master that
Cog.
Legend Optimus came with.
Oh, that would work too. But I would say Cog, what I thought would be the best one to turn into Roller.
Yeah, but in like the United Warriors fiction, they had like Roller get saved and reformatted, and it was Rook. It was like the Rook mold, and then when they had him at I want to say it was like the last New York Toy Show, they had him painted in IDW Roller colors.
And that Roller was completely not related to the Roller in his trailer.
Right. So like IDW Roller is a completely different thing. It's just like an in name only, but he and Orion Pax were friends. So, and yeah. And then, if I remember correctly, Matt, keep me honest here. It's like you think they like kind of like set it up that Tarn and Roller were one and the same, but then Roller comes back like kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was kind of like Roller reemerged as kind of like a middle finger to everybody that's been saying it's Roller all along. Right before they reveal Tarn's true identity, they're like, "Oh, and by the way, Roller's back, and he's over there, so it's not Tarn."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard the writer of Dragon Ball Z did that. Whatever people wanted, he did the opposite.
That's about what this was. So they set it up to be Glitch all along, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
one
And
dude
Glitch-
on Reddit had predicted that, but then everybody else was like, but you've set it up every step of the way to be Roller.
See ya.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Beck.
I don't know what we talked about this hour, but thank you
Well,
for listening.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, it's definitely as Matt said, I think it's definitely a middle finger to the fans.
it's all about the journey, not the destination. We know.
Well, that's how a lot of IDW ended up being, right? Because I
Yeah.
think, I mean, just in my opinion, some of the IDW stuff went a little off the rails towards the end of the series. That's just me. Some people probably love it. That's cool. But I like say, take Lost Light. Lost Light had its probably, in my opinion, the best Transformers comic that ever came out, with the exception of Last End of the Wreckers. But it had its moments, right, where that seemed to be a bit of an agenda. I won't get into it, but that would be the one I'd recommend, though.
I was still ticked off what happened to Tailgate.
I really like All Hail Megatron. I think that's still
That's a good
my
one, yeah.
favorite.
And you know what, though? And I'd like to know, too, what you guys think. The Dreamwave comics is what got me back into Transformers.
Mhm.
And I love the Dreamwave comics. What do you guys think of those?
I like them.
I like a lot of Dreamwave in general.
Yeah. Because
Because sorry.
No, I was just going to say that Dreamwave to me always felt like IDW always felt like they were trying to ascend to something more, where Dreamwave felt like the show modernized. Like they felt like episodes, but good episodes, you know?
Yeah.
Where Dreamwave was trying to be like, hey, we're edgy, we're cool. And Dreamwave was like, look, you like the G1 show, here's more episodes, but better.
I love
Yeah.
G1. I mean, Dreamwave. I used to, when I would read it, I would hear the characters' voices from the cartoon as I was reading.
Here's the thing: if you want the best Dreamwave story, and you can still buy that one, it's the one where Pat Mick first came on, and Pat Mick was actually like
Brad Mick.
Brad Mick, whatever.
I just went and grabbed that, Dave.
Okay.
War and Peace.
That is absolutely one of the best pieces of Transformer fiction ever written. It has so much fan stuff of wouldn't it be cool if, and they do it. Like when it has Ultra Magnus single-handedly taking on the Stunticons in the best way form of taunting each individual one till they fall apart. That just made me smile. Like I actually was when I was reading when that came out, I was actually a big Dreamwave fan in general. I read Dark Minds. They had a lot of original stuff that they were doing that I was liking, and then they started picking up all these licenses and dropped their original stuff. And then the whole thing of Pat Lee just embezzling and running everything to the ground just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah, because Dreamwave also had that one where Magnus fights down to his core robot. I remember that's in that story.
I
Yeah.
I remember
That was
a
a
panel
great
from that
piece.
where Grimlock was starting shit with him, and he was like, "You want to go?" And Grimlock's like, "No, you're not in my size class anymore," because he was the smaller robot. That they did cool stuff like that. Remember they had was it Dream? I think it was in this comic series where they had the rub symbols. They incorporated that in.
Yep.
Where there was a part where they were like a resistance movement, and they had the symbols on their chest. And they're like, no, we're
That's
cool. We're
all in that
Autobots.
War and Peace. That War and Peace has
Yeah.
everything in it.
Yeah.
Don Figueroa's art in there. You got that, and of course, the original War Within.
Right, and that's sort of set the stage too, right? Where the original War Within was. That's where a lot of these iconic designs and ideas came from.
The different, the different coalitions where they had different factions in the Transformers. The Lightning Strike Coalition.
Right, and
Yeah.
and Sportimus didn't IDW butcher Sunstreaker too, so I don't think he got any love anywhere.
Actually, in some ways, Sunstreaker got literally butchered in IDW.
Right,
Remember,
that's what I mean.
They turned him into the headmaster.
Now,
Right,
I will say to IDW, outside of All Hail Megatron, I really do like the Generation 1 comics and like how they handled it, and I feel like this is what the movie should have been. Like especially how the whole discovery of Megatron, and like how the military was trying to weaponize him, and he was
Yes.
just playing along the whole time.
and the opening shots of. I remember this vividly. I mean, I have the comics in my bins over there, but I haven't read them in a long time. But the opening of the issue 0 with the two main characters talking, and then it's very subtle, and you don't realize until they come into frame because it's heavy snow and it's Helm they're in, and the introduction to that is so freaking cool. How they get out talking, and Helm transforms kind of in the background, like. I remember the main character saying, what if your soldiers didn't hold guns? What if they were, or didn't hold weapons? What if they were weapons? And I don't know, man, Dreamwave had a lot of good setup, man. Like they just, and how, when we get introduced to Spike and company, like everything's flipped on their head. Spike intensely hates the Autobots now. Before it was cool before More Fiction did that. But this was the really first that I've ever known where they flipped a lot of a lot of convention from the old show on its head, and you're like, wow, I never thought of it that way.
I mean,
Go ahead.
The first arc of Dreamwave was rough because they didn't have an idea what they're going for. But that's the one that has, you see the artwork all the time of Prime going head to head with Devastator,
Yeah,
completely out of scale. That's where all the Pat Lee art is.
right.
That's just a little rough. But from War and Peace and on. I mean, that's what Sunstorm came from. All that was just beautiful.
That's also the same plot where they Megatron was going to Cybertronize Earth, right? They were going to infect the planet with some kind of mechanized something. I can't remember exactly.
Well, and then he also went back in time to the War Within time and got all the clones.
Right.
And that's when it ended.
Yeah.
They just got Bruticus. Starscream got Bruticus and all that.
And I remember, too, that's the first time that I felt like these characters were brought into adulthood because there was that scene where Megatron and the Decepticons had been torturing Ironhide and the Autobots. And there's this scene where, like, as a kid or as a younger reader reading this, and they show the scene of all these Autobots being strung up from the wall, being tortured. And like, Ironhide's nearly dead and delivers this message to Prime when he discovers them. I'm like, this is something different. I don't know, that's what brought me into the adult collector's world of Transformers is the Dreamwave stuff. Plus, I know people complain about the marshmallowy proportions of the robots, but I always loved it. I've always thought that was good.
You're gonna hate me for this. I actually like that art better than what was his name? EJ Sue.
I don't know the name. What is the?
He's the guy who did the art with the Hot Shot one shot. It's kind of a little cartoony in its own way, but I don't
remember off the top of my head. I have to look.
I was never a fan of that. God, I love effect parts.
So Sportimus, the omnibus for War Within and Dreamwave stuff. If I remember correctly, the legal stuff with Dreamwave is kind of in the air. I think IDW owns it now, but I don't know if they've ever actually released any kind of re-release on those. I believe they're available on the what's the download Comixology and all that. You can check there and see, but it's for physical copies. I'm not sure.
I mean,
No, I have the Ultimate Guide by Simon Furman.
Oh, and guides, not to mention their More Than Meets the Eye series was fantastic. That got you introduced to all these secondary and tertiary characters.
Yeah,
Good
that
stuff,
was
man.
perfect.
Good stuff.
I think Dreamwave does a good enough because Dreamwave gave us the Fallen, the concept of the Fallen.
Yep.
Let's put it that way.
Yep.
This.
Oh, I have that somewhere, but I don't know where.
I bought them separately. I think
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
like the first 6 issues, and then I bought the big book. I mean, the second half or something like that.
And Dreamwave, was it Dreamwave who did the Beast Wars one, the Beast Wars miniseries?
I think they did. You're talking about like the
With Magmatron and
yeah, they worked with
I worked with Simon Furman because I was actually
Yeah.
using because it was actually using the BotCon fiction of Shokarat and all the others. Again, this is a great topic because again, I almost feel like
see we got to get like Dakota. We got to get Tyler back on. We got to get Dakota back on and talk about all that stuff. Our friends from Stasis Lock.
Good stuff though. Like anybody listening, if you haven't checked out the Dreamwave stuff, some people don't like it and kind of like crap on it. But I don't think it's superior to IDW, but I think it's a good complementary read.
Yes, I agree.
It's definitely and Dreamwave went under. So if you're worried about a big investment, like there's not that much out there.
Just
Also,
don't
on
expect
top
a
of that-
resolution. Don't
Right.
expect-
Unfortunately, right. They have story arcs that close out, but the ongoing story just kind of leaves it hanging. The other thing they do too is that they made a Micromasters miniseries that tried to endear you to the Micromasters, and that I appreciated that because there's these little tiny characters that never had any backstory really, and they made a series about it. So
That was its own little pocket fiction because at the end of it had 2 Micromasters that took out Shockwave, which is funny because Shockwave ends up being like a near god in this freaking series.
right, and this whole series ended too with Unicron being summoned or picking up their signal or something, and then
Yeah, he never actually showed.
Yeah. But Sunstorm being one of my favorite characters, this is where that fiction comes from. That's why I like him so much, is because of his depiction, especially fighting Jetfire and being Starscream's brother, and Joe endlessly messing with this super cool figure. I mean, he's literally holding it by the crotch. I mean, mid crotch shot. Like, there is some fondle going on.
I'm wondering if his wife's getting jealous yet.
She's going to jump in there.
She's not home. What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
And Kiwi Collector, I saw your comment. I appreciate that. Thank you. I would love to do a voice for a series.
I did see Joe's picture where he had Constructor in bed with him. So
again, for our OnlyFans, link in the description below.
That did happen.
The Beast Wars comic was IDW.
Okay.
The Gathering.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was IDW.
And they started to get into Armada a little bit too. They had a bunch of Armada series.
Yeah, they did Armada. It
Yep.
did end, and then they started getting to Energon, and that ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Armada,
What a segue.
Good segue.
our friends Fans Hobby, they did not forget about Armada, and we've known for a while that Fans Hobby has an Armada Prime coming out, and there's some new shots of that. But the biggest news, and I do want to turn this into a little bit of a discussion because, you know, I'm a big G2 fan. I think anybody that watches the show knows that. But Fans Hobby revealed, or I should say revealed and teased, their Armada Megatron. And I can get the link to open without closing more tabs.
Yeah.
So, you know, in Fans Hobby fashion, they did their little reveal with it blurred out. Now, the cool thing about both the Prime and the Megatron is they're both including Minicons.
Oh, that was my favorite FU back in the day.
Leader One.
Leader One. I loved that.
Yeah, except they didn't call what was the name of Megatron's Minicon? I know it wasn't Psykill.
No, his was Leader One.
His was Leader One. Okay.
Megatron turned Leader One into his. Yeah.
And it was Sparkplug with Optimus.
Yes.
You know what the weird thing with Bendy Prime, the Minicon he came with looked like Leader One.
I thought it looked like Phytor.
That could be more accurate.
Don't out nerd me. Don't ever try to out nerd me.
But I want that Megatron. I've been wanting that since the Atari game. Only thing disappointing me is I do not see the claw mouth on the front of the tank.
I mean, you can see it. It's right there. You can
Yeah.
see the horn right there.
But the horns were huge.
I mean, they might
It's a
extend.
boy.
You know,
The size really matters.
they might be on sliders. The thing about Fans Hobby, and I have just about every Fans Hobby release to date. I think the only one, I have all their molds. I just don't have the trailers. I don't have the trailers for Nemesis Prime or I'm sorry, Scourge or G2 Prime.
I don't think you really need those, to be
And
honest.
quick sidebar, that Armada game, brilliant.
Oh, yes.
Except for the ragdoll physics.
Those were kind of weird.
That was just endearing. It's fine.
It pissed
Don't
me off.
don't die and you'll be fine.
You be doing something, and then next thing you know, you're ragdolling down a cliff. You get up and get shot again and get your ragdolling.
Dude,
more.
bro, that tidal wave fight, man. That was the shit.
Yes.
I just liked hearing the Transformers movie dialogue being said by everybody else.
Yeah.
Hearing David Kaye go, "I would have waited 1,000 years for this Prime."
And Starscream saying, prepare for termination.
Well, that's okay.
He tried to hit the high
Starscream.
note.
I was not a fan. No, the voice actor they had for that Starscream, they made him sound more like a punk.
Mm-hmm. His music, his theme, all of their boss themes are amazing.
It was a very well done game.
Especially, I remember, what's his name? What was the helicopter's name?
Cyclonus.
Cyclonus. I love it. I'm about to look that up after we get up there.
That Starscream fight caused me legit stress, man.
Right.
As bad as that fight I had in Final Fantasy VII.
That whole game caused me stress. Those things that ran like gorillas, like they used to scare the crap out of me.
Yeah, but once you got the right combo of minicons, you were God, man. Like if you could get the right ones picked up.
I never learned. I was getting my ass kicked on that game.
So what we got here?
Yeah, we've got X-Transbots, or I should say KFC, because these are technically KFC. They are not dead.
I was about to say that implant.
But it looks like we've got packaging photos for the rest of their Junkions.
This is me excited.
Oh, come on, Dave.
The single worst figure I own is a KFC figure.
What's that figure?
Mugen Scope.
Okay, that's not fair, though. That's a really early KFC figure. And I would say that their Wreck-Gar and Junk Heap are really, really good figures. I mean, they stand in with my Fans Toys figures on my movie shelf flawlessly.
I give them props for naming one of them Dump Yard.
See, even Sportivus agrees. They are really good figures. And the best part is they can actually ride one another in motorcycle mode. Like, they actually got those proportions down. And the other cool thing is they actually have interchangeable parts. So you can actually customize your own. It's just kind of a shame it's taken so long for these things to come out. Because I want to say it was like 2015 when Wreck-Gar and Junkyard came out. It's been like 5 years.
I was about to say that's probably one of the best Hasbro releases was their Junkions. That could do that.
With the exception of Commander Wars. Where they're like, hey, we're going to reuse the Junkion weapon, but we're going to remold.
No, I'll give you that. But the Junkions for Generations, I love those too because they actually could ride each other. They actually had pegs for it.
Yeah.
Oh my!
I know that KFC just reissued the first two. They did kind of like plus versions of Wreck-Gar and Junk Heap. So anybody looking for those, like, you can get them now. I think they're really good.
Did our boy design those?
I don't know. I don't know who the designer is.
Oh, I actually
Mark 44
DM'd
is in on these.
Yeah.
What's
I
that?
actually I DM'd Cassie Sark the other day.
Oh yeah.
He all the stuff he's been putting on Instagram, he's putting together an art book, and hopefully that'll get funded. And if the book gets funded, then maybe those designs might get put to realization.
Nice. You ought to ask if he'd be willing to come back on, because I'd love to talk to him again.
I'll see what I can do.
And Cerrone Games Go, yes, we do need an HD remake of War for Cybertron. There was a remaster of Fall of Cybertron. I really don't know who has the rights to Transformers games right now.
Yeah, it's kind of in the air.
I mean,
ever since they closed High Moon, we never got the proper third game.
well, I mean, we did at least get a really good game from Platinum. It was
Right,
Devastation.
Yeah, but
I mean, yeah, Activision forced them into making that weird hodgepodge game with Age of Extinction and
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
and that was technically in the plot of the whole
yeah.
Was it
Cybertron
Rise
game.
of the Dark Spark or
Yep,
something?
Rise of the Dark Spark.
Or was that the name of the Wii Prime game?
No, the Wii Prime game actually was pretty good, and that had Thunderwing in it.
Yeah,
I think
bought that. My son played it. I gave up.
I would love for them to make a Thunderwing in this new trilogy of this new trilogy.
They might.
They were kind of supposed to, but they didn't follow up on it. He was supposed to be in the repaint of Black Shadow.
All right. So let's get into some non-Transformer stuff. We haven't talked Figma in a while, and we haven't talked Overwatch in a while. And I kind of feel like ever since Hasbro kind of quietly canceled Overwatch, no one's really been talking about Overwatch figures. But we've got a Soldier 76 coming from Figma. I gotta say, he looks pretty damn good.
Oh, it looks so much better
You know
than the
what's funny?
Hasbro one.
The
What's funny?
Hasbro Blast Effect looks exactly like that.
I mean, you could say that, but I mean,
I
they
have it
were.
right here. Look.
It's kind of a testament to game accuracy, right?
Yeah, except their Social 76 can hold that gun better.
Well, that's
Well,
the
this-
thing,
this
right?
can
Like,
hold it.
it's kind of crazy that I don't know what killed the series for Hasbro, but when you release figures that hold guns and weapons that can't hold the guns and weapons,
Yeah.
what happened? These should have been knockout, like these should have been home runs for Hasbro.
I wonder too if like everything going on with like Blitzchung and people just kind of getting upset with Blizzard really killed it. I don't really want to steer the discussion too far
Hmm.
that way, but
That was probably it, because that's when they quietly stopped everything.
mhm.
We don't want no
I
controversy.
don't know how much of your casual toy buying audience and parents would know about that or care.
I don't think though that like Overwatch is really popular with the toy with like
Yeah, right.
kids and people that would like buy a figure. I mean, Overwatch
Kids
is
like, why do I need a toy? I've got Overwatch in front of me.
Ryan. Yeah.
You know, they may have been the G.I. Joe Trojan horse.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your conspiracy theory there, because I remember when you first started reviewing them, you were like, these could
Ooh.
just be G.I. Joes.
No, because the G.I. Joe's got better sculpt.
And articulation with drop
see-
down hips and all that.
I'd say the Power Rangers was more the G.I. Joe Trojan horse, to be honest.
Maybe, but I mean, like with G.I. Joes, like you can design things around the character,
Yeah.
but when
all
it
the
comes,
Lightning collection mostly look alike.
yeah,
I have a question real quick for those that have been out hunting, because I've only been to Target once in the past 2 months. Are the G.I. Joe figures hitting retail or not yet?
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Probably going to be in July.
Okay.
June if we're lucky.
I got mine from BBTS, so
Each figure comes with a tiny American flag.
G.I. Joe. Well, they're stealth putting America in there by making the packaging with a red hue, white, and blue.
I didn't know Ross. Well, at least the Rosses around here aren't open yet.
No effort randomness brought it.
Yeah,
What did I
and
say to get slapped?
yeah, yeah. Well, what did Dave say to get slapped?
I didn't even tell a joke in the last 10 minutes.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he feels the withdrawal. Maybe he feels like you've let him down somehow because you weren't there with the humor, with the Dave branded humor that he so longs for during the week.
I'll probably get 100 views on this.
Oh, picking on the Rangers.
Yes, I
that
am
wasn't
picking
picking on the
so
Rangers.
much on the Rangers because I bought every damn one. I actually was saying that the Rangers were the prototype for the Joes because of using the human body, the better articulation, the superior sculpting. I love every one of these figures. And if these figures are getting me more of these, well, I'm throwing all my money for both of these. I am
Nightwing,
nowhere near saying this.
All Dave's saying is, where's the Baroness? Why haven't we seen the Baroness in plastic form? We needs the Baroness.
I know we're doing the Baroness, and I know who's sculpting her.
But I want to see her, though.
That would have been
You want to hold her.
Matt, do you watch your Practical Jokers?
I don't. That's not my thing.
Oh man, that's like I thought that verbiage was like you like channeling Sal Vulcano or Joe Gatto.
It's my own thing. They stole from me.
Nah.
SDCC. We probably won't see Baroness until July.
Look, T, I'm sick of your negativity. Okay.
Actually, do you think though
he's rescinding the slap?
Okay, good. I wonder if we'll get another Ultra figure though, like Snake Eyes.
I would think so. I think there's a lot of opportunity to do it with Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have that picture of that poster from the Joes that has the potential designs?
I don't have that. If you can find it, we'll go into that.
Joe, you've been oddly quiet. We're talking about subject matter that has your name literally in the title. Would you like to add something about this? Because you've been very mute. I think you've been staring longingly at the paint job on your constructor.
That thing is hard to ignore. When I was a young boy, I watched G.I. Joe cartoons.
I'm surprised you don't say G.I. Me.
That's it. That's my extent. Actually, no, I had the 12-inch G.I. Joe.
You
basically Barbie dolls.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I had, yeah.
Full cloth uniforms and the whole 9 yards?
Full cloth, yep.
I almost bought that.
I know I had Cobra Commander, and I had one other one, but I honestly don't remember. Cobra Commander and something else.
Destro?
I don't know. It wasn't Destro. It was a Joe.
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, it was a human. It was a what
good guy. It was a good guy.
It was a good guy. He wasn't a bad guy.
Because all the Joes are the good guys.
I feel like everybody had either Duke or Hawk when it came to it.
But I don't remember much about those 12-inch figures, like how many they made and everything. But no, that was it. I wasn't really into G.I. Joe all that much. It just never really connected too much with me. I was watching Transformers and Dragon Ball,
and by the time you were old enough to remember, they were probably dying out anyway.
I like the 3 3/4 ones, to be honest. Like those were.
I never had any of those.
I had a ton of those plus the vehicles.
Yeah, that was like where it was at, was the vehicles. Like
me, I didn't start getting cool toys until I was almost too old to be playing with toys.
So 20.
Look at you now.
I remember making a wish because I went over one of my mom's friends. Her son had a whole bunch of everything, Transformers, everything. I remember making a wish that I had like all of the toys or whatever, and that came true like 20 years later.
When T says like I remember making a wish, you know what pops right into my head?
Cerrone Games Go. I just got that for you.
Oh,
this
Zoltar.
Zoltar.
So I just put the poster that Cerrone Games Go just mentioned in the chat.
All right,
On
let me
Mhm.
let me get this pulled up.
This has got me excited.
Yeah, so it's weird. It's like even though I watched GI Joe as a kid, it's just that's one of those things where like when I really got into collecting, I felt this need. Like I had to have even the stuff that I had a very casual. I'm not going to collect the whole line, but it was part of my childhood. I needed to have some physical representation of it in my collection. GI Joe, I've never felt the urge to have a GI Joe anything in my collection.
The stories are too sophisticated.
Did you watch the cartoon though?
Yeah, I watched it. I have hardly any. I remember more about the PSAs than I do the actual cartoon. I don't have any like real memory of like the story or anything. I think I probably know more about the horrendous GI Joe live action movie than I do the GI Joe cartoon.
I mean,
come on.
the cartoon was basically what 60 to 80 episodes
Yeah.
of people shooting at each other and never actually, like 99% of the time, never hitting anything.
And coming up with a
Much
crazy
like everything
thing.
from our childhood. No,
Pretty much.
I guess they just didn't want to show anyone getting shot until Transformers the movie came out. Then it was like,
And they
yeah, we're about
murdered
to-
everyone.
I
Everyone.
gave, it was when they did the whole Serpentor thing of them invading Washington D.C. I gave up on that show when the only reason Cobra lost was they forgot to refuel their planes. I'm like, I'm done with this show. I'm so.
I mean,
done.
it happens, Dave. It's logistics, man. They don't have a good logistics guy.
You know how many
that would
times
think of
I've
that.
forgotten to refuel my plane?
Right. That could
Now, you have a
take
Tesla
that could
plane,
topple an
you have to
empire.
you just recharge it.
So I'll tell you what excites me about this picture is that they strayed on the designs a little bit for some of the Joes, right? That's been a bit of a contentious point for some people, especially with Scarlet with the gold futuristic armor pieces and such. You either kind of accept it or don't like it. With Cobra, I don't see as much liberty taken, especially
Right.
with we've seen
Yeah.
Destro already come out and he looks fairly faithful. And then in this picture, the Baroness, Cobra Commander, all of these guys look much closer to their original appearances than the Joes do.
The biggest criticism I've heard is that tattoo on Storm Shadow's shoulder, which, okay, it's cool, it's different.
Yeah.
I've got no problem.
Right,
And
and that's
that's-
your biggest complaint, right?
That Cobra Commander, I know that people are going to be buying cloth capes for that, and that Red Ninja is going
Right.
to be the hardest thing to find because everyone's going to want to turn that into hand ninjas.
I was just talking about that Cobra earlier to somebody. I was like, if it had a wired cape,
Oh,
somebody
God.
was like, Cobra would be the least interesting. I was like, bruh, if it had a wired cape, I would be posing it all over the place.
Even if he doesn't have a wire, if he has a soft goods cape that you could glue a wire into,
Right.
fuck yeah.
Dude, Snake Eyes, Destro, Cobra Commander, Baroness. That's what I'm getting from this line. And I'm looking forward to all of them. Like, I'm
Oh, I'm
excited.
getting those ninjas. Those ninjas look great.
You're not getting Roadblock?
Maybe so some of them are going to be like an in-store decision thing, but at least right off the bat, I know those are the ones I'm getting.
After I watched the Amazing's review of Roadblock, I was like, yeah, that's actually a pretty cool figure.
Okay, The Amazing is the worst thing to watch. You
Yeah,
buy
well,
it.
Yeah.
He's,
He is
there's
a
a reason.
salesman.
There's a reason he gets free figures. Okay,
Yeah.
here's a pre-production sample. Just have it.
I think if you really look at Duke and Roblox, their outfits are exactly the same. Just
Right.
they got the knee pads.
It's like they're in a uniform.
What's interesting though about this line is I think this is the first line in a while from Hasbro where the characters are deliberately, and I think Dave, it was you that pointed it out, that they're deliberately different heights.
Yes. Well, actually, Robo pointed it out on his channel, but everything. I mean, there's enough stuff here that hopefully they can get some remold use out of to make other characters.
Look
I
at
mean,
Black Series, though. They don't worry so much about remolding.
That's true. In fact,
I
this
mean-
is everything I'm kind of wanting Black Series to be.
And you know, Black Series, you could argue like they get their money back from the Stormtroopers, right? Like that's where their bread and butter is. But if you know GI Joe, all they have to do is release the Cobra troops and the other
bats.
ninjas and the bats, yeah, and there you go, just like that. They'll have their version of Stormtrooper.
And then do a HasLab Hiss tank.
Speaking of Hiss Tank, I am so glad that website has shit to talk about now. Like shout out to Hiss Tank, man. They've been just year after year just kind of waiting for something big to come along. Good for them.
This is going to be our year.
You know what?
We'll give you Joe's, but you're also going to get a pandemic. We'll take it.
I need to talk to my boy from John Walker Customs. That's the guy who's doing the 1/12 Star Wars stuff. I
Yeah,
bet he could 3D print a Hiss tank.
is that the Mandalorian ship,
He's doing he just did the Raptor.
the Razor Crest?
The Razor Crest, sorry.
I'm gonna agree with Mark 44 here. Like I think with the Joes, like they are definitely gonna pop on a shelf rather than making them kind of like army drab and camo. I think that what they're doing with them is a smart decision. And again, like yes, watching D Amazing is a is a bad choice because he's kind of like Ben's Collectibles. He's a salesman when it comes to like showcasing a figure. But I will say that these things are definitely going to have presence on a shelf, and I think that they're going to have appeal, especially after seeing the packaging. Like every box for each one of these figures has been really appealing.
Agreed.
It's I'm very excited. This line, I mean, don't get mad at me, Nightwing. As excited as much as I love my Power Rangers, this is absolutely getting me excited for a toy line. Like actually, like with the potentials and the unknowns, this is really got me excited.
I'm beyond excited. I've already slowed down extremely on Marvel Legends. Just, I'm waiting for these.
I wonder how they'll reimagine Shipwreck.
Might be with the one with the skull cap and a long sleeve shirt.
I kind of hope so.
I like
If I had to choose, it would be helmeted, but I like both.
I like both, but I prefer helmeted.
Silver helmet for me. And that's what he's going to be looking at this.
Yeah, I mean, figures I'm looking forward to. What? Oh God, what am I saying? I'm so excited for the guy. I forgot the flamethrower. The guy with the flamethrower of Firefly. Not
Blowtorch.
Blowtorch. Firefly. I don't know if I want them to make a bazooka, but I know he was big in the show. Beachhead, definitely Beachhead. And just for kicks, I know Wild Bill.
What about Hawk?
Zartan.
Zartan. Oh, Zartan and Spirit. Oh, dude, Zartan.
Or Flint.
Definitely Flint.
Lady
Flint
J.
and Lady J were
Lady
two of
J,
my
yeah.
favorite characters.
You gotta have Flint, Lady J. Those are definite must buys.
Oh, Zartan and the Dreadnoks. That's printing money right there.
Bazooka.
Dreadnoks using the Marvel Legends motorcycles.
I think that's what Hasbro's seeing too. Like they want us all to get this nice collection of 6-inch Joes, and they'd be like, "Hey, I see you have those nice GI Joes. Do you want some vehicles for them to drive?" And
But
they start.
actually, the riders, in some ways, that could have been also a one of the slips. Are we buying $40 figures just because they're on a motorcycle?
Oh man, Kev comes in with Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes,
That would be a
Yes.
licensing nightmare. But man, what now?
What does he do? Oh, come on, man! Like he has nothing better to do than to
No.
sell the likeness.
It's not that
Mattel has the license.
Yeah.
Mattel has the license to his likeness
Yeah.
because of with WWE.
Yeah.
Okay, then make Corporal Slaughter, whatever.
Corporal Slaughter. Or you know what? They'll probably call
Corporal
probably
Bloodbath.
call him GI
Private
Joe's.
Slaughter.
They'll call
Yeah,
they'll
give
call
him
him
a
like
demotion.
GI Joe's Slaughter, like they do with like Autobot Jazz. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Just name it Slaughter. So what? Fuck it.
Okay, this is not.
Current day Slaughter, or
yeah.
if you fat and overweight and old.
That was the coolest 3/4-inch figure too. Was that Sergeant Slaughter? Like,
Did you have him, Matt?
Yeah, I did. I had Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah,
With
that
his
was like
his
my
hat
first
on and
mail
everything.
away. Yeah.
Remember Refrigerator Perry?
Painfully.
All right. One last bit of news. So we've got a photo gallery from NECA. The third wave of the cartoon 7-inch scale 2-packs. These are going to be Target exclusives. Finally confirming that. Casey in April, Leatherhead and Slash. There's also going to be an Ultimate Foot Soldier box set, which I don't think anybody's really excited for. And of course, we knew about the deluxe Metalhead, which I guess they're finally confirming that is an exclusive. I've heard some complaints from the fans that they tweaked April's design. I see it, but I'm not really all too upset about it.
Where?
Got a
Like
big
her
old
face,
head.
the head sculpt has changed.
There's a side-by-side comparison, but I don't know where I saw it at.
Yeah,
It's out there.
Is her head bigger?
yeah, the head and the hair are both bigger. Of course, you get a Pizza Monster as one of the accessories, which I absolutely love.
She changed from episode to episode.
Yeah.
Sometimes she looked more cartoony, and sometimes she looked more realistic.
I mean, I do like that the foot soldiers have like the pull apart thing, but I'm not building dios, so I don't necessarily need it.
I'm probably gonna skip him. I just want April. Just give me April, and I'll be done.
You've been
I
saying
want-
that since you were 14 years old.
I want April and Casey.
Well,
I hate the cartoon design of Slash. I'll just get. I wish they would have done like. Yeah, I like the Turtles in Time version, but I don't like the pixelation on it. So I'm probably gonna skip Slash and Leatherhead, especially since I have been unable to find Bebop and Rocksteady.
I think that's most everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I passed over him 3 times.
Did you really?
I don't. Yeah.
And you never made me an offer.
Hmm.
that you couldn't refuse.
Say, I've been looking for him for Joe for since pre-pandemic. So.
Oh, you're a good friend.
I mean, they definitely did give her like a kind of like a cherubic face there. I don't know. I don't think it's hateful. I think on a shelf it's going to look fine.
Well, boss, good luck.
Honestly, I think the April and Casey pack's going to be the easiest to find out of all of them. I don't really think that they have as much of a following as Bebop and Rocksteady do.
April.
I'm just more
gonna be
hoping I
on.
can find that Casey 2-pack from the movie.
Yeah,
The Casey Raph.
Casey and Raph.
That's got a
Yeah.
much higher.
Yeah.
thing.
You're
Like,
never
usually-
gonna.
Yeah,
find that.
Walmart.
Yeah.
That comes out next month.
Yeah. Metalhead, I want Metalhead something fierce. I think he's going to be hard as shit to find. But it's funny though, seeing him next to a foot soldier, it's like, does he really warrant like the? I hope he's priced as a deluxe. I think we got confirmation of that.
Which
He looks
Metalhead?
huge and he comes with a bunch of stuff.
He does come
Yeah.
with a ton of accessories.
It's all the accessories. I mean, that's what their ultimates, the ultimate stuff does. I mean,
Right, fill the box up.
Yeah.
I mean, just a case in point, my ultimate Terminator right here. You know, he comes with 3 head sculpts, the shotgun, the laser sight Magnum, the machine gun. He comes with 2 types of forceps, a hand to hold the forceps, and a replacement arm that's been surgically being altered. I mean, come on. That's
Come
what
on. My head is a puppet now. Can you not tell the difference?
But they're saying that's what a NECA Ultimate Pack is. You get the figure and you get so much stuff, and of course, this beautiful packaging.
How's the line go?
Nice night for a walk, Dave.
I need your clothes, your weapons, and your
That's
mother.
Terminator 2.
That's the good one.
That's no Terminator 1 and 2 are good.
Yeah, too.
I'm so hoping they do a reissue of the Police Station Assault version.
I
of
don't-
this.
I don't hate Terminator 3, especially like the stories behind it, and Arnold put a lot of money into it. I don't like I don't hate Salvation's
I
first
do.
75%.
I hate everything about Salvation.
Terminator 3, any movie that's got the guts to let the bad guys win at the end has got my vote. I always appreciate that because it definitely bucks the norm.
Which one?
Also-
Terminator 3?
With the
forgettable
chick,
one?
with
Yeah.
the Terminatrix.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Judgment Day ends up happening at the end no matter what.
Yeah.
You see, here's the thing. I like the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah,
because
that's a good show.
because the Sarah Connor Chronicles basically in its
Say
own,
that 5 times fast.
what, the Sarah Connor Chronicles? Sarah
Yeah.
Connor Chronicles, Sarah 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 Connor Chronicles. Not a problem.
Are you trying to break the simulation, Dave? Come on.
Yes, he is.
He told me to say it 5 times fast. I could. But in the show, they basically wrote out Terminator 3. I love that.
Well, Genesis wrote out everything. I like Genesis.
I didn't hate Genesis. I think a lot of people hated it, but like I had a good time with it.
Was that the one where they revealed too much in the trailers?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was Salvation
yeah,
and
That's
Genesis.
Salvation.
They
Genesis
let the
too,
cat
yeah.
out of the bag with the whole John Connor thing.
Well, the
Yeah.
whole thing with Salvation, here's what happened. Salvation had the potential of, it should have started out with John Connor walking out saying, like, Reese is away. You know, like, actually saying, like, what happens in the future. Not the lead up to Reese, you know? And that's what really ticked me off. It had such good potential of actually really fleshing out what the future held for the Terminator franchise.
Did anybody own Terminator 3 on like DVD?
Hell no.
Yeah, I think I did.
Are you talking about the bonus scene?
Sergeant Candy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
And they have like
I'll take care of his voice.
Yeah. It's like, hi, I'm Sergeant Candy.
yeah, they had somebody ad lib Arnold.
I always like to think that the Terminator himself, the T-1000, was based off of either Dutch or Matrix. In my personal canon.
The T1000 or T800?
800.
and that's
yeah.
and that's where he got his one-liners from. Was like from either of them. Stick around.
But think about that. Whether it be from Predator after surviving Predator, okay, this is obviously a soldier who fought the AI, you know, or just freaking Commando because he took out everything.
One ugly motherfucker.
I was just thinking that in my head.
You know, that's something I'd really like to see done. And I don't, correct me if it hasn't been done, where they would have like a tie-in like Terminator, Predator, because
Dark Horse has done it.
they did it.
Oh yeah, they did like the Skynet thing.
Yeah.
The Skynet was like a sleeper program that was in a Weyland-Yutani ship, so they made another Terminator while the aliens were attacking, and then the Predators came in. Oh yeah, Dark Horse will milk their freaking licenses.
As far as like a basis for the Terminator, having it like be like Dutch or
That they didn't do. I thought that would
Yeah.
be freaking.
I loved RoboCop versus Terminator. How they had like RoboCop being like the basis for Skynet. Yeah, that was before Frank Miller went entirely insane.
He was starting to get insane then, but yeah. Oh dude, fucking Frank Miller owes me. He owes me $15.
I still need to get my EndoCop on display. I still have that in a tote. So before we wrap up the show,
I got one more news topic I threw in.
Okay.
I threw in the chat.
Justice League Dark Apocalypse. I have not seen that.
I need to catch up on all those DC animated movies.
And it's not something we got to spend a whole lot of time talking about, but Amazing Yamaguchi revealed their My Hero Academia All Might.
Oh
and
yes.
it is fantastic. Like we've seen protos before, but this is fully painted with the accessories, and they did an excellent job. I don't know how well it scales with Deku, but I don't care.
They have a picture of it with the Deku. They
What's that?
They had a picture with it with Deku.
But they're both squatting in an action pose, so it's kind of hard to tell.
It's a Revoltech. Everything's in an action pose.
Sure, but that's the thing is that the pictures they have of All Might standing in his A stance look natural, which is a big, which is what I think Revoltech has been striving for here lately.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if we have pictures of it, but look it up. It's fantastic. It comes with accessories that make sense. I think the question we all had, not all, but some of us had, was about the shadowing on the eyes of All Might, because All Might tends to have the black shadow around his face, and I think they probably struck a good compromise between real life and cartoon accuracy, where they have the eyes blacked out on this figure, and it looks well enough. I think it's acceptable.
I'm not even a huge My Hero fan like you boys are, and I am talking to Nate Simmons, friend and family of the show, to get both Deku and All Might. Because, Nate Simmons Toys is awesome.
Yes. Pick up your toys from Nate Simmons Toys on Facebook. Link in the
Seriously,
description below.
Tell him
once
how many
this
times I've been
episode is
plugging him
over.
on this show, all right? None of y'all have been doing that.
No, yeah, it's
Nate's Toy Shop on Facebook or Nate's
.com.
Toys and Collectibles.
I put the
got-
link in the description normally.
I got
Oh, there
my
you go.
There you
Okay.
go.
I didn't even know that picture existed.
Yeah, there you go.
Good stuff.
It looks like perfection.
And that's the thing too. Like Figma has been dragging their heels on the My Hero license, and then all of a sudden they start rolling with them, and they don't. There's no All Might in sight through Figma, but
Do you
the
think
Figmas run $90 a piece. This All Might through Amazing Yamaguchi is $90 in and of itself, and it's like Hulk, Incredible Hulk sized figure.
Oh, look at this.
Figma's
that-
going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think
Well-
Figma is going to be $120 to $130.
I don't know about that because, like, Figma, from what they did with the few Marvel figures they did, their Hulk figures were priced the same as their other releases.
Okay, I hope I'm wrong. But
I'm curious if they were dragging their heels to see what the competition was going to do, to see whether or not they, how they were going to shade the face. I mean, that's like one of the things that's like so indicative of the character.
That's almost impossible to pull off though. But what I like what they did here was they didn't shade it, but they put some like texture and some. It's not just one color. Like Deku's face is all just one color plastic. All Might's face has like some color tones to it, so that if you do light it properly, you
you'll
can
that
get.
effect.
And go
Yeah,
back
you
to
can
the
get one
the
side.
face mat.
I'm not in control.
That or
Both of those, actually.
that one.
Well, that's a shot there that shows what you're talking about. That you can
Yeah,
get that
so if you
shading
light
if
it-
you light it right.
Yeah, it'll
Well,
take
that's
some
just from
effort.
the muscle definition.
It's funny
Yeah.
too because the effect piece that comes with it is really smart. Like they didn't go crazy with it as most companies don't, but this one actually works out pretty well. That it's a full circle of impact pieces that split into 3 parts that can be
Yeah.
used just like
Yeah.
he's showing you there.
Yeah, right there, or like this,
Yep.
or like that.
And of course, since it's Reveltech, you could then use those impact parts with Deku just to.
The faces are fun. They make sense. I
Yep.
love the choices they made here. The exact faces I would have chosen for him.
Now, going back to like, when we were talking about the impossibleness of the face, I mean, I didn't think that cell shading was possible on toys, and yet it is.
I
Have you
think it works
seen
for
the Devastator
Transformers,
that
but
Joe had?
yeah, I think it works for Transformers and robots. But I think when you come to like a humanoid type thing, the cell
I-
shading.
Disagree. There's a cell shaded Batman that looks amazing.
And the video game shaded
Can we pull up a
turtles.
picture of it? I mean, I just can't say I've ever seen one where I was like, oh yeah, that looks good, that works.
Yeah, there's a black and white cell shaded Batman. It's the let me pull this up here.
Pull it up, Jamie.
What was that thing I had the other? I don't want to derail too much.
That's my job.
Are we
Um,
gonna make it through this 2-hour podcast without talking about the Snyder cut?
No, but
Let's get on it now.
Yeah,
Batman
there's-
is gonna be
yeah,
in the Snyder
there is
Cut.
the Jim Lee Batman. I thought this
Yeah,
was,
see, I've seen that. Yeah, this one and they did some other ones in color. I think what this does is like if you want to keep that in the box, like set it up on the shelf, it looks pretty cool. But I've seen these in person in GameStop,
Oh
not
yeah,
this
I saw
exact
that at
one,
GameStop. I was like,
and it
yeah.
doesn't work for me. It was like it probably could have been executed better. The thought was probably not bad. But
There
That usually goes
was-
for most
yeah,
DC
cell
collectibles.
shading is it's
All
a
right.
hard thing to pull off.
Well, how about this? There was a cell shaded Magneto sculpture.
That actually looks.
I don't know if that's
pretty
cell
neat.
shaded or that's supposed to look like Jack
That
Kirby's art.
doesn't look like a real thing.
That was like-
It's like my
that was
it's like my Devastator. It doesn't look real.
Yeah, that's the point. Come on.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
I
mean,
know
that works. So
people that have done. I know there was a cell shaded Goku statue, but I know there are people that do the model kits that have done some cell shading. And you know, again, like Goku's so simplistic when it comes to his details. Yeah, and okay, so
I
there's
gotta pull
been
this picture up. Go
Well,
go ahead though.
real quick. There's been more of these Jim Lee cell shaded figures.
Yeah, those are the ones I've seen.
Yeah, I mean the face on the Superman's terrible.
I mean, they're not terrible, but
For the
Yeah, they are.
Superman, it's terrible.
There has yet to be a
That's
really
not-
solid, good Superman figure. I hate to say it in the modern days.
Just like his video games.
yeah, true.
Yeah, it's true.
But
Yeah, here. I don't know if you guys seen this, but this is the first time I've seen this picture. So it looks like the eyes are actually they're not fixed with the faces, so you can actually put the different eyes into where he's looking in different directions with any of the faces.
That's pretty cool. Well, that's. I mean, I said I'm.
That's a
slight-
nice touch, because that's one of
Yeah.
the things that's kind of frustrating. Like when we do get blessed with like, hey, we get some an alternate face sculpt.
So-
you always get these fixed eyes where it's like, okay, it's either looking to the left or it's looking to the right.
Well,
or it's looking
Revoltech,
straight forward.
Yeah, Rebel-
they actually start off with the whole thing of putting the poke in behind the eyes to actually fix the eyes, which is
they've done
really-
articulated eyes.
That can be annoying though, because if you don't
It
get
is.
both the eyes focused the same
Yes.
direction, you got all kind of Homer Simpson.
But then at the same time,
Hmm.
if you had the Revoltech Spider-Man and the Deadpool, they actually had the ones you could put the different eyes in the mask, which I thought was pretty
Or the Revoltech Woody that has articulated eyes.
cool. Well, the other one I was talking about had articulated eyes. You just got to go behind the head and adjust them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you don't get the eyes, well, Woody's an exception because he's a toy, he's creepy. But the ones that are supposed to be humanoid looking, if you don't get the eyes pointed just right, it's off-putting.
Magneto has that problem. Captain America has that.
You get the one
and
wandering eye.
I can't remember
And
if Wolverine doesn't have that. though.
Synthetic humans.
Figma did articulated eyes on a few of their figures. Like my Solid Snake has articulated eyes of all figures.
So if we're gonna talk Snyder Cut, we're gonna be on for another 2 hours, y'all. So if anyone wants to bail out or whatnot, we don't blame you. 'Cause
I'll let you know.
that can open a
I
whole
would
can of
say
worms.
let's do a B. And I mean this. I mean let's do a B side for the Snyder Cut this weekend because I think there's a lot to talk about. I think that warrants its own show. Matter of fact, I'm going to say not only should we do a B side, I think Kev should be a guest on that B side.
Yeah. What am I?
So
I
Is
so
this really
Kev-
that big of a deal?
yes, it is. It's a huge deal. It's probably one of the biggest things because it's going to warrant reshoots. It's a $20 million recut of an existing film.
Which I don't think they're. I think it'll be more than 20 million. I think it'll be.
Does that
more
mean
than
we'll get
30
And-
million.
Will it then demand to release the air cut of Suicide Squad?
And well, maybe, but the fact of the matter is, it's a $20 million cut of a movie, and it's exclusive to a streaming service. Like that's like the claim to fame for HBO Max. It's like we have yet another streaming service, and then an exclusive movie, or exclusive
Yeah.
cut of a movie.
I think it has. There's a lot to talk about in a sense of the movie itself, the original movie itself, and what it means for. Is this going to be a new trend or other movies? Are they going to do this with, You know, like Dave said, are they going to do it with Suicide
Yeah.
Squad? Are they going to do it with any other
Let's take every
properties? Like,
movie that sucked, and we'll actually give you a good version of it that you really wish you
Yeah.
had 5 years ago, and that's why the movie tanked.
The
All right.
Michael Bay Transformers.
like the Fantastic Four movie that sucked. Like, are they going to do a director's cut of that? I don't think so, but that just a lot of people are
No.
bringing that up.
No.
There's no way you could save that one.
Yeah.
Marvel wants that.
I want John Krasinski to be Mr. Fantastic. Like that's the
Ideal
casting I want.
casting. Yeah.
I want Emily Blunt to be Sue Storm, and then I think the funniest fucking thing would be is if they got. I mean,
If they had
Come-
to not say anything the whole movie.
no,
or
they
else
get Chris
monsters
Evans to
will do.
reprise his role as George. So I think we should do a Snyder Cut podcast this Sunday.
Sunday might work. I think. I don't know. I gotta look at my busy schedule.
When does
Yeah.
it actually get released?
20.
think,
I don't know, next year sometime.
Yeah, next year.
Okay, so we don't actually need to have seen the Snyder Cut to participate.
No, but-
Got it.
Yeah.
Are you sure
I
you
do-
wouldn't rather be beating Final Fantasy VII so we can do that B-side?
I
Do that.
have this week. I'm off tomorrow, so after I go to the barbershop, I'm gonna play.
Mm.
And I will probably get maybe 5 hours in. Hopefully,
Skip the side quest.
no. But before we wrap the show, I do have a discussion I want to go into. So, Joe getting his cell shaded constructor really had me thinking, like, what is the centerpiece of your collection? You know, we all have that one figure that if anybody comes down into your collection room, you know, you've got that one figure that I think maybe you want people to be drawn to, but there always is that one figure people will be drawn to. What is it?
I can start. I've got it right here. It's my crossover Pikachu.
Yeah, where did you get that?
Joe gave it to me. Is it Pokemon? Is it Dragon Ball? It's both. It's the best of all the worlds. And if you take Pikachu off, I can use the Nimbus for the SH Figure Arts. It's the greatest thing ever. That's the center point. It's going to be well lit in my next display. It's going to have a plaque with Joe's name embossed. No, that's an excellent figure, but for me, it's SOC Voltron.
Mm.
You can take
Now,
the camera off me.
Well, I was gonna say, like, when you've had people over, have they gravitated towards that figure? Have they been like, wow?
Well, the only real people that I've had over to appreciate the collection are Joe and T at this point. And Joe's been here enough where he doesn't care. And T he sat in the corner of my basement and started filming reviews. And he grabbed figures that he didn't have and he stacked them on the table. And he's like, all right, y'all. And he started filming all of his reviews in the corner of my basement. So,
And he put most of them back, we hope.
well, I haven't really
Hope
done an
so.
inventory since then, so maybe not. But no, there's not. I can't say I've had many folks that I can, I can poll to see what they gravitate towards.
Fair enough.
Really, I guess the fair thing to say is anybody that's coming to my basement, people gravitate towards what they like or recognize. So it's hard to say a center point thing when they'll be like, "Oh, look, Ninja Turtles, that's cool. I remember that movie."
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a center point, but it's the
Yeah.
thing that they're drawn to.
So Mark 44 says he's got the Hot Toys Hulkbuster. I can never forget the time we had the one meetup where Kev busted out that Hulkbuster.
And he had
And
his
that-
kid in it. Like he opened it up and one of his kids was inside piloting it. It was crazy.
But I gotta say, like, that's definitely like a centerpiece in a collection. Like, that Hulkbuster is single-handedly one of the most impressive collectibles I've ever seen in person. And yeah, I could definitely see if you've got that on your display, like, people going like, wow. Like, because it looks like it could be like a movie miniature. Like, that's how good that thing looks. So, Joe, I gotta ask, now that you have that Devastator, would you
Yeah.
say...
I would say now, if anyone was to come over, that would be what they would gravitate to. because it just pops and it grabs your attention. The last time I had someone over that wasn't Matt, it was my cousin, and the first thing that he like saw and he was like, "Oh my God, I remember that," was my Fans Toys grinder. I personally, if I would want my centerpiece to be like when someone walked in, I would want them to gravitate towards my Godzilla display that I have, which is not one particular Godzilla figure, but the whole
Yeah.
thing that I have set up. But yeah, this constructor's gonna be
Because that
it's so
Ghidorah.
huge and it's so colorful, and it just, like I keep saying, it doesn't look real. It especially like right now I have it sitting in my light box where it's all lit up, and I think that's what I have to do. I have to figure out a way that I'm going to display this where it's actually got lights, hitting it from all sides. But that's a tough one though. It's a good question because it's kind of hard to like for me what I would want the main thing to be. I can't say there's one piece that I would say this is going to be my centerpiece.
So
Yeah.
So Dave, Sportimus is saying for you it's probably your collection of totes.
Here's the thing.
The tower of totes.
This room is chaos right now. Okay, I need to throw my family out for like 3 days so I can just clean this.
I like how you added for 3 days.
Yeah.
One day to clean up and 2 days to just
reset. You're not even kidding. I mean, that's exactly what I need to do. But if this room was presentable properly, I would say it depends on where you're looking and who you are. My Voltrons would probably be the first thing that's the largest items in the room. If you are a Transformer fan, I have a G1 Overlord still. If you were big in the Japanese stuff with the Kamen Riders, I've got a few of. I probably would say my Kamen Rider Ryuki and my Kamen Rider Ryuga, because they're a red and black dragon that look really cool together, and the black dragon was an exclusive. So again, it depends on who you are and what your interests are, because I collect so much shit, it's not even funny. My Power Ranger, like the other shelf over there, I've got my Power Rangers stuff where I've got the original G1 Megazord, I've got G1 Megazord, the original Megazord, but then also have the Soul Shigoken Megazord. I mean, I can't say I've got a single focal point except for maybe my photo display, to be honest, or all the totes. So
those are some nice totes.
They are. These totes, your goats, man.
Totes my goats. Now, T, I see you going in on your Omega, and
this is whenever somebody comes in my room, the first thing they see, because the biggest thing towering over all this. And then Metroplex and Trypticon, and like closer to the door is Fort Max. So all the big giant ones, of course, especially him. This is the first thing you see when you open, and you see this. But definitely Terminus Giganticus. And I'm hoping, I need to readjust him because when I open this window up, if the wind blows, he's going to take out all of these Autobots.
I mean, for me, I would like to say mine is the Winged Dragon. I would like to say that because for me, that's the most impressive piece in my collection. But I think for the reality of it, it's the larger bots. It's like the Titan class stuff that people see. The combiners, like the Zeta and Toy World combiners that are at the bottom of my shelves. So I've got Constructor and I forget what their Superion's name is. Bruticon. No, it's not Superion. It's something. It's something like similar to it. Oh no, it's Kronos. It's Kronos.
Those fake names, they're not important.
And then like the Fans Toys, Phoenix, their Jetfire. That's another one that like people see. I think like the it's like the shelf with like the Titan class stuff that really draws people's eyes. Like when people are like, wow, those are big. And the combiners. You know.
Those are, the larger size bots are definitely the ones that are going to draw the eye. I mean, a Legends collection is rarely ever going to draw somebody's attention unless someone's put a lot of time into dioramas or effects and really making it into a scene where, I think you're right. Just as a base figure, it's the Titan figures.
Actually, I think the one that people kind of really look at is my Fans Toys Dinobots, because those figures, people will see them, they're big, and people go, oh, I had those when I was a kid. They're recognizable.
You think so? Even though they're kind of like, as far as collector pieces go, they're boring color schemes. I mean, they're gray.
But like, I think those are, because they're recognizable, people are kind of drawn to them. Like they're gray, but there's that gold and the chrome all over them, the translucent plastic, the silver accents. So I think they do stand out. I mean, my collection room's kind of it's less of a collection room, more of a museum.
That's from my experience walking into your area. I'm just drawn to the layout and just everything being there more than any one particular toy.
I gotta do something about the chug stuff though, because that's out of control.
Even that section looked good. Well, I know you added like several more figures since we.
It looks like chug stuff comes out like, more than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough when you're constantly adding at that higher pace.
Yeah.
Whereas like Masterpiece stuff, you got a little bit more time, and it's like a month or two goes by, you got one piece that comes in, so you can put it in. The smaller stuff where you're picking up retail, like I've got a lot of small stuff. I've got the NECA stuff. I got the Earthrise stuff. I've got McFarlane stuff, all just crowding my desk right now because I have not figured out what I'm gonna do long term. They're just like I just keep sliding them over as new stuff comes in. I'm gonna run out of desk space eventually.
Yeah, I'm gonna add shelves to this wall to try and put stuff on. Like I think I'm gonna move my Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And there we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to move my Power Rangers in here, and maybe my Marvel. And then I've got like the Black Series helmets too. Like people, like when they see that Vader Black Series helmet, that thing sticks out. And that was like one of the cheaper collectibles I've ever bought. Like I wouldn't say it's one of the cheaper collectibles I've ever bought, but like for what it is.
That I can mess with that museum right there because I wouldn't be messing up the display since everything is just there.
Yeah, like my desk right now. It's even less organized than what Joe has going on.
You should see the shelves I didn't show you beside me. It looks a wreck. Shit's just piled up over here.
Yeah, that's my life right here. So like I said, I just gotta throw everybody out for a week or 3 days.
Oh, now you're moved up to a week. They're gonna be gone for a month.
He keeps moving the goalposts there.
Dude, quarantine.
Yeah,
I need some me time.
It's like what's gonna come out first, the Justice League Snyder cut or
us going outside?
Dave reorganizing.
You got no idea.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to cut because my laptop is about to die.
I was about to say.
Right.
I just got the warning.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll call it a night. I think it's been fun again. We're gonna have a very special guest next week. We're gonna have one of the OGs for Transformers reviewing, Vault Matrix.
Oh
no, a good friend of ours.
Vault Matrix, cool.
And it's going to be a fun night, so make sure to check out next week's show. I want to thank everybody in the chat who hung out with us tonight for the long haul. You guys are awesome.
Every single one of you are so awesome in Nightwing 'em.
Anyway, Matt, before your laptop dies, where can folks find you at?
I've been posting a few more pictures on the Instagram, Partsformer, PlayStation Network, Partsformer, Xbox Live, Partsformer, Facebook. Don't look Partsformer because that's not me. And here with you, fine people, Thursday nights.
Don't look for private Partsformer, then.
Or do if that's
yeah,
your thing.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans territory.
Is
All
it
right.
fans only or OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
My OnlyFans is only $99 a month, and I start with each individual finger shots, like from the nail down. So it's pretty sexy. You'll like it.
There's a montage set to Goodbye Horses. It's captivating.
You won't be able to turn away. I guarantee it. That's non-refundable, by the way.
True Star Screamer, you've got some photography coming out, and for those that want to see it, where can they find it?
You can find my photography, of course, at my Instagram of @TrueStarScreamer. And yes, I will get Snake Eyes up there. He is definitely on the high priority list. Of course, you can find me on the Twitter at TrueStarScreamer. Not as exciting, but if you're a wrestling fan, it's pretty cool. On PlayStation Network, True Star Screamer. And then you can find my new cooking blog at onlyflans.com, where we're doing delicate European Latin desserts.
I don't think anyone knows that.
I've had flan many a times. I'm a connoisseur of Brazilian cuisine.
I'm just anyway.
Mr. Joe Crab, when you are not putting your constructor to bed, where can folks find you at?
Oh, I had that picture up too. I was going to show it.
You did?
I lost it though. Maybe I'll find it real quick. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram, and apparently now you can find a lot of my stuff on Facebook and on other people's Instagram, because people are taking my Instagram photos and reposting it. So that's a thing. I think I got more traction on other people's Facebook pages than I did on our actual Instagram, that's depressing. Here we go.
You're on my community page on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
There we go. Constructors in bed.
He's giving he's giving 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. That's right. Everyone does that. Comes into bed with me. They give me 2 thumbs up.
That's
about it. T-Man, how about you?
You can find me anywhere
But a barber.
Yeah. I hope to have that. I'm gonna have to find out by this weekend.
Let it go.
Just start making phone calls. But I honestly, like, man, I think it's like it's a becoming look, man.
I agree.
It's too much. I'm sweating. It's definitely hot.
There we go.
And
Next
not
week,
the good kind of hot.
Next week, I imagine a do-rag if you don't get your hair cut.
Me or Dave?
I might have to pull that off.
Both.
And Jordan, where you at?
So you can find me on Twitter at The Original Zero. I am back. I reactivated my Twitter account. You can also find me on Instagram as Extra Zero. You can find me on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live as Extra Zero. There is a space between Extra and Zero on Xbox Live. And last but not least, you can find me in the Facebook groups as James Jordan. Anyway, actually, not but least, you can, of course, find me here every Thursday night with these fine gentlemen, including Partsformer, as we go live on Figure Action. Hopefully, we have a B-side for everybody on Sunday. Kev says he's down, so I want to get back on here with everybody, and we want to talk about like what the Snyder Cut means for film, especially since theaters aren't showing movies right now. We kind of work that in there because what I'm seeing is as theaters reopen across the country, they want to show old movies. Anyway, it's been great having you all. It's been great being here, and I've had a good time. So we hope to see you all next week. Same Figure Action channel, same Figure Action time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see you all next week. Peace.
Bye. Sarah Connor Chronicles.